630 WMAL.
722 on the Morning Majority. Brian Neiman, Jonah Goldbeg, National Review this morning. So I saw this interesting column in the LA Times this morning called Taking Feminism Overseas, and the author is Jonah Goldbeg. I said, hey, that's pretty cool, because he's actually going to be on the show all morning guest hosting with me. Essentially, you say that feminism has it's been tapped out, essentially, in the United States. We've been there, we've done that, and it's I guess worked to an extent, and now we're starting to farm it out overseas where we really need feminism in the Middle East.
Yeah, I mean, feminism, if by feminism you mean the sort of common sense thing that women are human beings with free choices and all the rest, that, the feminist movement has succeeded, and that's why what feminists argue about today is whether or not, Sarah Palin is evil or stupid, because that's what obsesses them.
Equal pay, you can hear a lot about.
You hear about equal pay, but equal pay is sort of a nonsense issue, right? You have more women graduating from college, more women getting graduate degrees, women do better in school than men. 20-something women are more accomplished and successful than 20-something men. 20-something women are more accomplished than 20-something men, and women who've never had kids make more money than men. Basically, the equal pay thing, the reason there are any disparities is because some women want to choose to raise their kids. That's choice too. That's all the rest. And but there's all these institutions, there's this whole feminist industry that has to justify its existence by crying about crisis and whatnot in the United States. Meanwhile, you look around the world at places like Iran, where women are little girls can be forced into temporary marriages, so they basically get raped and then let go. In Egypt, the army was doing forced virginity tests on women. In Afghanistan and Pakistan, you have little girls have acid thrown in their face when they try to get an education. Seems to me that those are pretty good issues for feminists to get worked up about. And the reality is that Islamism is in and of itself, political Islam, is a very male terrorist ideology. I mean, when you're promised a sort of bonus of 72 virgins in the afterlife, when you blow up a bunch of innocent people, that's a male thing. And, it's interesting to talk to Islamic, theologians about what even happens to women when they go to the afterlife. Yeah. It's confusing. And so it's that's where the energy should be. But the problem is that you have this sort of coalition of the oppressed thing on the left, where the left has decided that it's wrong to sort of point out bad things about aspects of the Muslim world, and so they're going to have solidarity with all these people when they should be their greatest villains. Instead of demonizing Pat Robertson, who wants to hold doors open for women, and pull out chairs for them at restaurants, they refuse to sort of go after amazing evil. And we know from studies that female literacy, female education, female liberation in the Arab world or in the developing world everywhere goes hand in hand with economic prosperity, with a decline in things like terrorism. And so the entire feminist movement are sort of like drunks looking for their car keys only where the light is good.
Yeah, and a lot of this is what we're seeing, the spring of freedom that's popping up, or the desire for it, is coming from women in the Middle East. Obviously they can't speak out loudly as the men can, as the young men can, but you are starting to see that, where women are saying, especially the women who have come from those countries here to the U.S., they're the ones that are the loudest and the most vocal, saying, things need to change over there.
Yeah, it would help us enormously if more than 7% of Afghani women could read. Men, one of the reasons, just imagine if in Saudi Arabia they kept Jews or blacks segregated the way they keep women segregated, not allowing them to drive, not allowing them to go in through the front of stores, not allowing them to take off those burlap sacks. And yet you get a lot of this sort of double-dealing obfuscation about the reality in that part of the world, and we need to at least speak truth to it.
We can read Jonah's comment in the LA Times this